I remember days they used to laugh at me. Used to show them on my records talking casually. Used to say it was a passion on my path to be. Then they told me that I couldn't, so I had to be. Tell me what they really think about it now. Used to hate it, but I guarantee they're proud. Had to do it just to show them that I could, yeah. Now I finally think I took it where I should, yeah. Had a jokes on you and now you're on and laughing. I did a whole lot of winning. Look, it came from a passion. I see a whole lot of no ones I could see now in public. And that may think a lot of things, man. At least think something, now you the judge. And now tell me where you ended up. Yeah. Look, I bet it was a simple job. Yeah. Look, I went and took a different route. Yeah. Look, that's why my life is different now. Back in my feelings, look, when I wasn't so gifted and I was learning to do this, and all I heard were the critics, and I don't blame you for that shit. Look, I was way out the basis, but I just needed some talent so I could wait this to greatness. Oh yeah, you ain't ever think this, no, no, no. Stop me while I started, homie, whoa, whoa, whoa. Now this shit settled, it's go better and better, but I'll always remember, yeah, yeah.
Yo, guys, we're here, That1 Podcast. We're just shooting the crap here. It's me and Kinz here in Austin at the OWN headquarters. Go check out OWN. It's a new social media platform coming out. You got to go hurry up right now. Go to that platform and get your username.
Yes.
Lock in your username. You don't want somebody else stealing your username. I got Mikey C-Roc on lock. So we're here with Matt Halfhill. He's from the neighborhood here down the street, just a couple blocks behind the old Olive Garden, the old Saturday Night Live skit.
So, what is it? Endless breadsticks or Impossible?
Yeah,
those are like
salad and breadsticks, man. Or soup, whatever route you want to take. But we got Matt here. Matt, thank you so much for being here, man. Appreciate you. And you've been on a heck of a journey. And we kind of want to let's get started with that journey that the transformational journey that you were on.
Our mouths dropped. First of all, we love that you live here. How long have you lived here?
20 years.
Okay. And what do you love most about this city? Because South by Southwest is going on. I mean, Austin is the coolest. What do you love most?
I mean, the vibrant community here, lots of creative people. And I mean, you see all this creativity that comes South by Southwest.
Yeah.
Just imagine people like this around all the time.
The city is electric, and so are you. So as we were saying, like when you said, hey, I used to be, what was the exact weight?
320.
Which is insane. You've been through a total transformation. And so, yeah, take us through your journey.
Yeah. So 2017, I was up to 320 pounds, which was the highest. Dropped 142 to my lowest, down to 178 a couple years ago.
These are huge numbers. He's acting so nonchalant. I mean, this is incredible. Not easy to do.
I mean, it did take me aback when one time I picked up a suitcase. This is when I had only lost 100 pounds. I picked up a suitcase that was right at 50 pounds, so I didn't have to pay overage at the airline. And I was like, oh my God, I used to have 2 of these on my body. That was like one of those like, oh my gosh, this was a lot of weight that came off.
That's crazy. Yeah. I do the dance to distract them now, because I'm like, oh, it's 52.5. No. But a lot of people that they have that moment, that one moment. We talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
That one. And so, was there a moment where you're on an airplane and you can't quite get the buckle to your seatbelt, or that you had a time where you're just like, F this, I'm changing my life. I'm not living like this anymore.
Oh, I definitely had like the seatbelt moments.
Okay.
The tying your shoes and you have to time your breathing to be able to reach forward to tie your shoes. Those moments.
Yeah.
The time where you wanted to go on a date somewhere where there was a zip line involved and you're like, oh wait, I am way over the weight limit to be able to go on a zip line. Yeah. The ripped jean, the size 42 or 44 jeans that ripped. I still have those, by the way. That was a moment, but really the moment for me was when I started losing sensation in my legs. Like I would touch my leg and not feel it. And I knew something wasn't right. And I went to Google to search, like, what is this about? And that's when people were talking about diabetes and nerve damage. And I thought, oh God, I got to make these changes now, or I'm not going to get a chance to do it. Because I did not want to have to go to the doctor. I did not want to have to get insulin, get put on anything like that. I had a really bad, I had been coming off of Vyvanse and other SSRIs. Mm-hmm. So I was already very skeptical of anything from the medical community. And I knew like, I got to take control of this before I don't have a shot.
And what is that first step that you took? Because a lot of people, they want to what's the very first thing that you do? Because they want to do it. They don't know what to do first.
Yeah. So for me, the first thing that I did, and this was a radical thing. I knew what my problem was. My problem was food was a addiction for me. Right. And I treated it in America, if you have food addiction, it is way too easy to get your fix. It's on
sure.
every corner. It's in every gas station. Food, and the wrong food is everywhere. So I used food as my drug of choice. But one thing I did was I created basically this rule for myself of like, I was only going to eat, I think I did vegetable based. Okay. But the reason I did that was I knew I couldn't do this at a drive-through. I would not be able to live off of that. Mm-hmm. So I just basically said, okay, no. And I did like, there was one hard rule, no sodas, and then no fried food.
Okay.
And then, yeah, it was that. And then I kind of made a list for myself of what are some things I could find vegetable wise that I could find pretty much anywhere. And I knew baby carrots were sold almost anywhere, and hard boiled eggs. So yeah.
There you go. What is that mental strength like? Because I mean, it's such a mental game. Mm-hmm. So I mean, do you still feel like you're that when that old guy creeps in, or like you feel like do you still have the old habits? How do you kill them fastly, or have you totally just that old version of you has died?
That old version of me, like it's so funny. I have a hard time like I emotionally have a hard time looking at the photos. I have a hard time remembering that life.
Person.
Yeah, that person. Like, and my partner says it all the time. She can't believe it when she sees some old photos. She's like, I can't recognize you. And
you're giving so many people hope too, because you're like, you've done it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that to me, that was something I missed. And that was something that my son shared with me. He said that I think you could help a lot of people because you did it. Mm-hmm. And they could see you and then think, oh, I could do it if he did it.
Yeah.
And
it's 1,000% true. I want to give you a big hug right now. It's amazing.
That is something I didn't have. Mm-hmm. Everything I saw in terms of weight loss and fitness, at least at that time, it was mostly from people who were always athletes, mm-hmm. or people who were former incredible athletes, then maybe, fell off the wagon after their pro career ended and then they lost weight again. There wasn't a guy who was never like an athlete, mm-hmm. becoming one.
Right.
And who had lost the weight kind of thing. But yeah, that it is crazy to think about the change. You sometimes have a hard time recognizing those things.
If someone's on their journey, Matt, and they screwed up, they effed up, they went back, they did, they had a night, but what do you tell them?
You just adjust your milestones, adjust your goals. Like that was something I had set some goals for myself in terms of the weight loss, and I put it in my notes app on my phone. Like I'm like, at this date I want to hit this weight, at this date I want to hit this weight, at this date I want to hit this weight. And they were like, it was like a 6-month type of thing, right? But the thing that I did and I had tried doing this many years before, but I'd give up if I missed a goal, right?
Sure, yeah.
You're like, oh, fuck it, I'm never going to do this. So then I
back
just
to
quit.
Square one.
Yeah. This isn't for me. I'll always be this way. No, what I did was I just adjusted them. So it's like if I slightly miss a milestone, it's like, okay, well, this is my check-in. Let me adjust the goals out months in advance into the future. Maybe you find I need to be a little more aggressive with this or less aggressive. Maybe I'm too optimistic and that kind of thing. But just don't quit. If you actually are, if you're eating right and you are sleeping the right amount and you are moving your body, you just have to play the long game. Time is what will get you there.
I love that.
Yeah. So you have Nice Fit, right? That's the new company that you have right now. But let's talk about NiceKicks. You have one of the first, I would say, faceless channels on social media, right? Was Instagram that? Instagram was the main one that you started with, and then MySpace. So MySpace back in the day, MySpace.
Yes, we love that.
And then Instagram, and it blew up, and it's it's like a blog, video vlog too, probably in pictures. I don't know what you call a picture blog, but a plog. I just created a new name, Plogs, but of sneakers and all that. I want to know the vision. How did you get the idea of it? And then take us through the journey of starting it and how long it took to get really some momentum.
Well, so I started building the blog in December or November of 2005. The hypothesis I had was that people would want to consume information about sneakers the way they do technology. There were a lot of message boards and forums that I was a member on that I would read about shoes and upcoming things. But the problem was their structure and just the way that there was no authority. There was just kind of like, you know, you might have had like people who had high post count, but that didn't really, you couldn't necessarily build trust off of that.
Sure.
And so I saw there was a need for an easier way to consume the information, as well as one that like kind of fact checks and verifies the information before they post it. So that was what I started building with that. And that was like, I think we launched the first one in April of 2006. Okay. And early on, like always incorporated what was social networking at the time. MySpace at that time was the only primary one. And then Twitter in 2007. But so we always like wanted to engage with our audience on the website in the comment section and then off on social networking sites.
And what was your vision? Have you fulfilled it?
No. No. Okay, so the original like origin story of NiceKicks, I'd started buying and selling clearance items from the retail store I worked at in Canada on eBay while I was in high school, and I wanted to build something in it outside of eBay that people would know, and my original goal was to earn $40 every 2 weeks for the sole purpose of being able to buy my gas while I went to college. That was the original goal.
I love it.
And I completely failed at it doing that. So, and the thing is like, have I achieved my goal? No, because we're far past whatever initial goals were.
Yeah.
And I had no way of dreaming where the world would go either. Mm-hmm. So it's always been approaching things with an open mind of what is possible and where we can go with that. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So, all right. So you had NiceKicks during that time, and you're doing sneakers. Did you get sick of it at all? And how did you keep things interesting for you on that journey?
I mean, my relationship with shoes is very much changed. This shoe that I'm wearing here, this is my second pair of this shoe. It came out in 2017.
Classic. I love it.
It's the Sail Air Jordan 1. And I've probably worn this shoe more than any in the past 8 years. I used to have so many shoes. I don't have so many shoes.
Were you
now.
a sneakerhead?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
yes,
how many?
Yes.
Like, how many are we talking?
Oh my God. Okay, at the very, very, very big peak was like 1,800.
Oh,
but,
what?
But I will say that
That's impressive.
Okay, but so I didn't wear a lot of those shoes. A lot of those were like items that I collected that were vintage or that kind of stuff. But there's this video. I gotta find it. Or maybe I don't, but there's a video where a French documentarian came and visited me, and I had all these shoes. I just moved temporarily from Austin to California, and I had all these shoes still in boxes, and they filled the house. I had one U-Haul of nothing but shoes, like one.
I mean, that's pretty badass. Yeah. I gotta say, that's cool.
But I looking back at this video footage of me going through all these boxes, and I'm like, oh my God. I look like a subject on Hoarders. I'm like, this is not okay.
Yeah.
And what has changed is that for me now, I can have a relationship with the shoe or like connection to the shoe without having to actually own the product. For me, it was like I had to own the thing.
Yes.
Now I don't need to own the thing.
Yes.
So yeah, I can find love.
You didn't find any cats or random stuff in the shoes. Like a hoarder show, they always find like random animals in the mix.
Let's talk about the esoteric part of this, of having stuff, whether it's shoes or whatever. When you have a lot of stuff, to me, I found that the more stuff I have, the less free I am. And so as you had that, did you start to feel closed in and less space? And also when you let go of the 1,800 pairs and I don't know what you got down to now, but did you notice that like you had more space and like and more freedom?
It was like this huge lift of relief. Yeah. Like I was just like, oh my gosh, it was a huge sense of freedom. I think that, this is, I think a very American problem. I think we have too much stuff, period.
Yes. And it's an anchor, right?
Yes.
I mean, to be honest,
oh
and I'm the
gosh.
same way. I used to like I have a sizable wardrobe, but I'm just like, I want to just pare down and pare down. I keep paring down and I don't need it. I can start over tomorrow with nothing, you know, and just need,
Well, and actually starting over, isn't that like I found as a kid when I went to high school in 3 countries for those 4 years. And what I did enjoy was going to the new place because it's like you start over and it's like you move into the place and now you start filling in
what countries do you need to know?
I started in America, Grenada, down in the Caribbean.
Oh, wow.
And then in Canada, Victoria,
Oh, very
BC.
cool.
Yes.
Very cool. What a cool experience. Did you have a favorite? I just want to...
I don't know if I have a favorite. Each one did so much for me, especially Grenada. I mean, even though it was such a short time there, that was like profoundly pivotal like part of my life.
Have you
for sure.
implemented any of that vibe, that culture, those experiences within the brand?
So I designed a shoe with New Balance, and it was fully inspired by Grand Anse Beach, which was my favorite beach in Grenada that I would go to while I lived there. So yeah, I definitely have brought it in.
That's really cool. I love
So
it.
with NiceKicks, then what came from that as it got to grow and started getting attention? What did you notice that you got from it? Relationships, opportunities? Like, can you tell us some of those stories?
I mean, I went to college, but both my parents were professors. They were business professors. I went to college, and about a year and a half in, I told them I was dropping out, which was like not an easy conversation to have with two professors. What NiceKicks has provided for me is it has been my education. It's been my education in business. It's been my education in management, which I still suck at. It's been my education in marketing, so many things, as well as taking me around the world. So the best things that have come from it is really what I've learned and the people I've met through the whole journey.
And what, through your personal journey of this weight loss, of this huge transformation, what have you brought with you in your brand and your business? What is it, a mindset? Is it a practice? Or are there some correlations that you noticed?
I mean, one big thing is like, does this get me does this decision, this time, this meeting, does this get me closer to or further from my goal?
That's a gem. Will you drop that one more time for us? Making decisions when you're thinking about doing something.
Yes. Does this decision get me closer to or further from my goal? And shout out to Gabe Ocean who dropped that gem with me.
That's awesome.
But it is, and that really applies to training, like big time. It used to be something I loved watching late night stuff or whatever. I would stay up all wee hours of the morning working sometime. But now when it's like, I have to get up and I have to be in trainable condition at 6 o'clock in the morning. No, I'm taking my magnesium and I am making sure I'm asleep by
Mike is a
11.
magnesium. We had this discussion last night and we were like having dinner and we were talking, another gentleman was talking about sleep and it's like, oh, you don't need that much. You only need this. And you said, no, sleep is so vital, which it is.
Yes.
And you mentioned magnesium. So
Yes.
both of you guys. Okay.
Big time.
Yeah.
And I have to reset and start the day with that. And through this, it's like my day is not right if I'm not in that routine. And I think the same thing goes for business. If you are making small sacrifices here and there, it's very quick that you actually lose yourself and your North Star as an organization.
So the next thing now, NiceFit. Let's talk about NiceFit. And for those that are going to start a brand, start some kind of platform, let's talk about monetization and how they should be thinking about monetization and like what business model to have with that. And what is yours?
Yeah. So, I mean, NiceKicks started as a publisher. So we made money through advertising. Through time, business has evolved. You know, the banner ad, well, actually we were before the banner ad. We were on Google AdSense, just pay-per-click thing originally. So be ready to adapt with how things change, but really be intentional about how are you going to monetize and build towards that. NiceFit is built very differently from the way NiceKicks is. You know, NiceKicks started as a publisher. Even on NiceFit, I was like, oh, maybe I'll start an Instagram account and cover news about these products. I'm like, no. I know from experience, monetization has dropped off for publishers. You have to be doing agency work. So NiceFit is an agency that works with brands on this stuff. And, you know, we could do that. We could do the media, but that's not going to get us towards our goal. So.
And what do your kids think about this? What does your family think about this whole journey you've been on?
I think that they will laugh about it as to like how different it is.
I mean, we just met and I'm proud as hell of you. I'm so proud of you. I mean, you're such an inspiration in all areas, but that's really incredible.
Yeah, they definitely, I mean, they saw their dad at a really bad time, you know, especially my older two, they really remember it. They'll have the laughs of like, yeah, Dad, you used to like sleep so much. And, you know, they would tell the stories about like all the funny things that happened while I was asleep. And it's like, I was asleep because I had no schedule. I was just in such bad shape. I was putting these awful things in my body. And now they get to see a dad who doesn't do that. They get to see a different way of living.
That's so cool. And you're so vibrant. You got that energy. I love it.
Well, a lot of people, you know, some people believe in past lives and other people believe we were born here. right? But when you go through a transformation like you just did, physically and then spiritually, you're like you talked about, you don't even remember being that person, right? And so like you've had many lives already in this body, right? So like, can you kind of talk about like what your spiritual journey's been, or are you spiritual, and how does that play beyond the physical realm?
I mean, I think there's interconnectedness between all people and all things. I think that what it was is that the connections were always there. I always had those connections. It's that was I in the healthy enough spot to be able to recognize them and see them? Or was I paying too much attention to certain connections instead of others? So I think that is really what has changed in terms of seeing these kinds of things. I mean, like my connection to things such as water, something simple, right? But pretty much the foundation for all living things on this planet.
Yeah.
I now have such an appreciation, not just for the hydration of the water that I put in my body, but the understanding of the importance of being connected to it, the importance of clean water, the access to that, what that provides for others. Before, I didn't think of that. I just thought, oh, water, that just comes out of the tap.
Exactly. It's always there.
Yeah.
What is one thing you will never, ever do again? That you can say with all certainty, you won't ever do again. Mike is thinking, there's a lot of things you won't ever do again.
I would say it's quit on this.
I love that.
My uncle will say this to me. He's like, it's amazing you lost all this weight and you kept it off. He's like, it's amazing you kept it off. And there is this thing about it that I have fully like detached myself from a previous life.
Yeah.
I'm like, there is no going back. Go back? No way. Like,
right.
No way. I can't even understand what that would be like. That would be making a conscious life choice to live an unhealthy life. Mm-hmm. Now, after I've seen what life has brought me living healthy, I can't possibly make the decision. I want unhealthiness now.
And what would this, your best self, because you seem to be that to me, if you could go back to Matt when he's in his depths of despair in his bed, what's one thing you would tell him as you've quantum leaped, you're in your new life as your future self? What would you go back and tell that Matt that is like, this can't be life?
Oh, that it gets better. It gets better. And all the great things you think that are going to come from making those changes, it's 100 times better than that. You are going to feel better than you ever have. The amount of energy you will have is far past what a Red Bull can deliver to you.
More than wings. Yeah. Yes.
You will start thinking that you just want to look okay and fit into a certain type of clothes and have a decent looking body. You'll actually find that on the totem pole of things, that's actually the lowest.
Wow.
That really your body and how it looks is nothing more than a byproduct of the way you're living.
That's powerful.
All right, we're wrapping up here. Matt, I want to thank you so much. I mean, we just met recently, and then I'm a champion of yours already, and I'm rooting for you to go further, but more importantly, to inspire and be exponential with the impact that you're going to make on people, man. And you got emotional about this, and I was starting to feel it too. So I get it, man. And I just want to commend you for everything that you're doing. And I hope everybody, today took something from this that they can implement in their lives and make their lives better and the lives around them better. So thank you very much, man. I appreciate you being here.
So many gems. Like I'm making notes. I have all the gems. But thank you for being so real and transparent. You're a delight. So, and an inspiration.
Thank you.
Okay, so make sure check us out. That1 just keeps getting better with incredible guests like these.
Be that one.
Be that one.